Hey guys, it's Elise and welcome back to my cupcake addiction. A little while back I posted this pretty cool and relatively easy rainbow layer surprise inside Instagram cake and you guys absolutely loved it, but ever since you've been asking me to make something else social media related. So today I'm going to be showing you how to make some really fun social media cupcakes, and I hope that I've managed to cover off on most of your favorite social apps. The things that you'll need to make your social media cupcakes. I just made a batch of vanilla frosting and I've coloured it in 2 different shades of blue. So add a little food colouring and then a little more to get your darker blue. I've got red, yellow, and because I didn't want to make a whole batch of chocolate frosting, I just added some Nutella to a bowl of my vanilla frosting to kind of hack vanilla frosting and make it chocolate with a delicious Nutella-y twist. I've got some melted white chocolate or candy melts, scissors, a knife, and I've got a Ziploc bag. And I've also made you guys some templates today. So I've created some really fun little printable cupcake wrappers and also some cute little Instagram outlines. And I'll link to those down below so you can download them. Print those out on something slightly thicker than paper. So I normally use about a 210 GSM cardstock. Otherwise you can print them out on paper and stick them to something a little bit more heavy duty so they support your cupcakes. I've got a piece of parchment or baking paper and another template for our toppers. And of course, I've got my cupcakes. I'll leave links to good cupcake recipes down below. Let's get started. So you want to take your parchment paper and I'm just going to lay it over the top of my little printed template. And then I've put my white chocolate into a Ziploc bag and I'm going to snip off a very fine little point to make a pretty precise, tiny little piping tip. If your white chocolate's too runny, just let it sit in the bag on the bench for a couple of minutes so it's not going everywhere when you try to start piping it. I'm going to trace around my template, starting with my little Snapchat ghost. And I always like to start by doing the outline and then filling it in, because that way I kind of have more room for error. If I make a bit of a mistake around the outline, I can kind of drag the chocolate back inside the shape. And as the outline starts to set, it gives me a really nice little guide and a barrier for all the rest of my white chocolate to sit within. And then you're going to pipe the little white chocolate stem. So this is basically what holds it in place in the cupcake, and it's a delicious bit of white chocolate hidden within the cupcake. Because I know these are going to set as we go along and I don't want to have all these little ridges in there, after I pipe each of my toppers, I'm just going to lightly tap my paper on the bench. Don't get too crazy, you don't want to mess up your white chocolate, but you'll see it just sort of flattens the top out and makes it a little bit less lumpy and bumpy. Moving on, and you want to do all 4 of your little logos. Those ones you don't want to set in the fridge, because if you put them in the fridge, it's going to cause the chocolate to kind of curl a little bit. So just set them at room temperature. While they're setting, we can frost up our cupcakes. So I've got mine all sitting in the cupcake wrappers, but I don't recommend actually frosting them in the cupcake wrappers. I'm going to frost them just in their regular little liners, and we're going to do a flat top frosting style. This is a style of frosting that I use all the time, and I love it because you don't need any piping bags or any piping tips. We're literally just using a knife. If you didn't catch my video where I showed you 5 cool, fun decorating techniques using nothing more than a knife, I'll leave a link to it down below. Basically what I'm doing is I'm just piling on a ton of frosting. I'm smoothing it so that it sort of squishes out over the outside edges of the cupcake. It looks a little bit messy at the moment. Then I'm going to wipe my knife and I'm going to come around and just scrape it back. So you can see there I get like a nice, neat kind of a high wall around my cupcake. Once I've got my high wall, I'm just going to use the knife again just to even out the top. And there I've got a flat top frosted cupcake. So I'm going to make sure that my frosting matches the colour of my cupcake case. And you also want to make sure when you're using these paper cupcake cases or these cardboard cupcake cases, try not to let your buttercream frosting touch the cupcake case, because the butter from it will actually kind of absorb into the case. So you can see I've got my cupcake liner right flush up against that cupcake wrapper. That's going to go off to the side, and I'm going to frost up the rest of my cupcakes. So now that you've finished frosting up all your cupcakes, your templates should be set. And when you go to peel them off, you should just be able to take them straight off that wax paper. If they're not coming away quite easily, they may not quite be set yet, so you might want to leave them for just a little bit longer. Now I've got these quite long for different sized cupcakes, but you can size it up against your cupcake and you can snap a little bit off if you think it's going to be a little bit too tall. Because we haven't set that in the fridge, your chocolate should be quite pliable. Make sure that you're in line with your front logo, and it's as simple as sticking your little chocolate topper straight down into the middle. Make sure you stick it straight down, because if you try to go in at an angle, you risk snapping it. There's our Twitter social media cupcake. Love this guy. And a little Snapchat cupcake. I kind of wish that I had have done some kind of a black outline around the ghost, but I think it works without it. If you're not following me on social media, make sure that you do. I post on my Facebook and my Instagram, actually a lot more than I post here on YouTube. In goes your Facebook logo, like. And of course YouTube. I couldn't be on YouTube making cupcakes that don't involve YouTube. And finally for Instagram. Now, what I did for Instagram is I just cut around these little empty box templates, and then I picked photos that I liked. So I've got Jacob with a stash. I've got Oliver eating a gigantic cupcake. So I just printed the picture, stuck it inside the little Instagram frame, stuck the Instagram frame onto a toothpick, and then I'm going to pop it into the top. Once again, I'm making sure that that little Instagram template doesn't come in contact with that chocolate frosting. I thought this one was really simple, and I kind of wanted to keep them that way because I wanted to make sure you only needed one color of candy melt in the white, so I didn't go getting crazy amounts of ingredients involved. I hope you guys loved today's social media cupcakes video. Make sure you follow me on social media if you're not already following me here, there, and everywhere. I'll leave all my links down below. If you like this video, let me know down below. If you want to see something else, I always love to hear suggestions. And as always, thanks very much for watching.